So this is my 4th year without actually using proper social media. You might be asking why I say proper, but I get to do that in a minute. So the question I get asked the most when I tell this people is, what is it actually like? Don't you miss it? And in this video, I try to answer this question now that I had plenty of time to think about it. So to make it really quick, I ditched social media around 4 years ago. It was the height of the pandemic. We were all locked in at home, and at some point it felt like there was nothing to do besides screens. And my screen time this time was just abnormally high. I was wasting half, if not even my whole day on consuming trivial content, and I felt bad. Thing is, I actually wanted to reduce screen time ever since I had my first smartphone as a teenager. Because at first, it was all cool and new, but I very soon understood that now that I had it, it felt like I couldn't live without it. I couldn't sit in silence for 5 minutes or so, and I always had to check something. I always had to scroll something. Especially social media was making me feel addicted. I knew that this wasn't good for me. But still somehow I was never able to sustainably reduce it. So 4 years ago, when I was just completely fed up with it, I decided to quit. At first, it was a weird feeling. What do others do right now? What do I do with all of this free time? And most crucially, am I missing out on something? The realistic answer is yes. I am, and that is a good thing. You see, when people criticize their screen time and feel bad because of it, it is often not because they actually use the calculator or the notes app too often, but because of, guess it, social media, because they spend too much time on TikTok, on Instagram and co, and always seeing what others are up to, always sharing what you do, always comparing, consciously or subconsciously, getting likes, not getting likes. All of this just messes with your mental health. And especially although I didn't see every status update of friends or people I somehow know anymore, I understood that this was a great thing. Because first of all, I questioned whom I followed. Previously, I was seeing regular status updates of people I never talked to, thinking that we were still close because I somehow knew these people from another stage in my life, and I thought that we were still close, but in reality, we had no contact whatsoever. And interacting, or rather not even interacting in the digital world, only was somehow to me like fake friendships. And I don't know whether this makes sense, but it was no problem to leave that part of social media behind me. But when it comes to like friends and family, yeah, I missed some things. I told you guys this in another video. A friend of mine, just like that, got married. And I only found out about it afterwards. And it would have been nice to know about these things, to kind of feel part of a group or stuff like that. But what I found out after quitting social media was that what was even nicer, and also talking about that friend who got married, that I would actually now would talk more to people. They would tell me more about the things that happened in real life, what they would have actually then posted. They would tell me about all the events, about vacations, about stuff that happened, instead of getting information about people, you know, like by like the Instagram updates they share. So you would actually have conversations with them and talk about things that are happening in your lives. So I felt like quitting social media really much improved my real relationships. I don't want to leave that out. Now I significantly waste less time on my devices, and the time I spent on my smartphone, for example, is used in a way better way. I have so much more free time than I had previously. I have so much more mental space somehow, because social media was never great for my mental health, which is just nice. I feel calmer and, I don't know, like kind of more in the moment, so to speak. And there's nothing I actually regret. I never looked back and thought like, oh man, I miss doom scrolling Instagram and TikTok, killing every spare second that I had with stupid content. No, I think this decision was made to last. One thing I noticed over the years is that just quitting social media is not the end to the problem. Because in the last couple of years, I tried just about everything to further reduce my screen time. Minimal launchers, activating grayscale, using dumb phones, digital detoxes, alternative e-ink phones, all to help me reduce my screen time. Because I understood that screen time is somehow like clutter in your house. You won't have a tidy house by cleaning and tidying up one whole day in the whole year and then do nothing for the rest of the year. And somehow it's the same with fighting your screen time. It's this constant entropy that slowly creeps in again. The problem is not solved by only quitting social media, I think, by only switching to a dumb phone. No. All of these things definitely help, and they can be all crucial building blocks. What works for me might not work for you, and vice versa. And there are dozens of methods that help you at different points in your digital life. The crucial point is that you decide for yourself that you want to live more in the moment and waste less time on your screens. The methods, the techniques, and so on, all of that will follow. Many roads lead to Rome, they say, or rather away from your phone. All right, but you might ask, has anything changed in like 4 years now? And I would say yes, definitely. First of all, my last vice, so to speak, is and always was YouTube. I initially in the beginning of the video said I quit all proper social media, and YouTube was always still there for a couple of reasons. It's hard to say whether it's actually real social media or not. I mainly use it to consume content I think is useful. At least that's what I'd like to tell me. But of course, I fall back into watching nonsense at times. And there is definitely a social component to YouTube, like social media. I mean, like there are comments, there are likes, etc. But I somehow feel like the community on YouTube is way more civil and less toxic than on TikTok or especially Instagram. So I try to maybe not quit YouTube, but mindfully reduce my screen time on YouTube and consume more quality than quantity. But I might not be able or even want to quit it in total. I mean, I make myself YouTube videos after all. Then number 2, I experimented with alternative social media. Yes, you hear me right. So the thing is, I just hate that the whole social media landscape is basically owned by the same tech bro monopolies with worldviews I do not share and morally questionable outlooks on the world. But what do I know? I'm just a hypocritic monkey with a microphone that posts this video on YouTube itself. So what I want to say is that I just looked for better alternatives with less addictive algorithms, data protection, or even real social features. For example, Be Real from France, which I think is a really cool concept. Open source Canadian PixelFed, which kind of felt like Instagram 12 years ago, which is not even a bad thing. Or even Blue Sky or German Mastodon after Elon went crazy. And I wanted to know whether there are more humane alternatives to connect with people without the toxic algorithms. And some of them definitely have the right to exist. Lastly, although I manage more and more to free myself from social media and toxic screen time, I'm kind of sad when I see that all the people in my life are struggling with it themselves. I always love to tell people about possible solutions, and I'm really happy when they tell me that the techniques actually worked, because I've been there too. And that is partly why I started this YouTube channel as well, because I wanted to help people be less on their devices and more in the real world. Still, I think this problem won't solve itself on its own globally. And I think we all have to keep making an active effort to promote the idea of lowering your screen time and stop letting algorithms run our day. So to you watching this video, would I, Michael, recommend you to ditch social media as well? My answer is yeah, totally. Or at least heavily reducing it. You don't have to be dogmatic about it. I mean, like, just be practical. How much value is it actually providing in your life? Just make a pro and con list, for example, and the answer might vary. And you might have legit good reasons to use social media, which is absolutely fine. But I just think that a little bit less of screen time would do good for all of us. And if you want to dig deeper in this and understand why and how to actually stop being addicted to our smartphones, then maybe watch this video right here, where I review the book Digital Minimalism by Cal Newport about how being less online improves both your digital and your real life significantly. Besides that, as always, thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.